YouTube? Chris Moreno back with another video. So it is Thursday, February 11th, and I'm on my way to the gym to do some mobility. And I wanted to use this time to show you guys pretty much the first portion of my warm-up routine, right? It's the soft tissue work, it's the smashing shit, it's pretty much rolling out, right? But the thing is, when it comes to using foam rollers, using barbells as smashing tools, softballs and crossballs, that stuff does work, yes, but you want to make sure that the areas that you're weak at, that's causing, you know, that tight sensation, you're actually working on getting those areas stronger, right? Because yeah, corrective exercise in general is well and all, but at the end of the day, the main purpose behind corrective exercise is to no longer need corrective exercise, right? And, you know, using things like foam rolling is one portion of that. But again, the main point of this video is to show you guys what I do before I do the dynamic portion of my mobility, which I have shown before. If you want to see a video / example for that, I'll leave a link in the description box. But yeah, guys, once I get to the gym, I will show you guys what I'm doing. All right, guys, so I've shown this in the past, but I'm beginning with my feet and I'm pretty much working my way up the chain. So I'm beginning with these foot smashes, right? So it's pretty much like a 3-part foot smash. Think of like the tripod foot that you make with your feet whenever you're just performing movements in general, and you want to pretty much find hot spots at those each individual spots, right? So I'm aiming for a spot underneath my big toe initially, right? Looking for a hot spot, and I pretty much hold a flared out dorsiflex position for about 10 seconds, really focusing on getting good breaths, and then I'll squeeze my feet downward, kind of like I'm trying to pick up a towel with my foot while simultaneously pushing my foot against the ball as hard as possible. Again, really focusing on breathing through. That is a big key. And once I get all 3 parts, I then work on getting the calves. So of course, with all of these movements, it's both sides. Just for the sake of time, I'm just showing one side at a time in the video. But going back into the calves, I pretty much start at just above the ankle, and with the other foot I place it on top in that little figure 4 cross pattern, and I just focus on pushing down against the leg that I'm smashing. And with the leg that I'm smashing, I just focus on getting at least 2 up to like 5, honestly, clockwise and counterclockwise circles, right? So again, 2 to 5 in each direction, then I'll slowly roll up, and I repeat the process just until I get to right behind the knee, and then from there I then roll all the way back. Followed by that is the quad smashes. Pretty much start at where the inside part of my knee is and I'm facing the ground, and I work on rolling to where the roller is going up my leg, so I'm rolling downward. And then once I get into the hip, I rotate away from the side that I'm smashing and I go back down. So that way you're going to be working on getting the middle of your quads, right? Your vastus lateralis is the name of it, but it's, I think, VLO, some shit like that. But yeah, you're going to really find that rough part, you know, at least most of us will. Again, while you're doing the quad smash, it's a bunch of leg curling and leg extending. Just keep on doing that, focusing on the breathing. And then from there, I get the inner thighs, I get the adductors, really getting that high groin area, like with the softball, lining it up to where I find a hot spot. and then I rotate away from my leg. And then from there, with the side that I'm smashing, I extend that leg as straight out as possible, and then I work on getting some internal rotations, turning the foot inward. I'll do this for about at least 30 seconds, up to 2 minutes of work. You do it as much as you need, ideally until you feel change happen. And then from here, I go into my hip smashes. You start with the TFL, so it's just underneath your hip bone, and you just find a spot. Some of us will not necessarily feel a hot spot per se, but you'll feel at the very least some tension. And then from there, you're just focusing on bringing your leg outward. That's internally rotating your hip, because your TFL is the main hip external rotator, and we need external rotation for a lot of our movements, especially a squat, and especially a barbell back squat. And then from there, I go into the glute med smash. So it's the side part of your butt. You pretty much aim for where like if you're wearing jeans, think like where your butt pockets are, right? So you want to think about starting in near that area, and you just find a hot spot. You find a spot where at the very least you experience some slight discomfort, but you may find spots where it just hurts like hell. And then I get some knee drives, and then some leg lifts, just different ways to get it in. And then from here, I will pretty much get on my back and go into this figure 4 crossover position, and then I'll lift my leg up, just so I'm getting different angles in how I'm hitting this glute med. Again, just really smashing it down. And then with the medicine ball, ideally you could also use a foam roller still, just getting the QLs. So I've mentioned this before in another video, and yeah, it's just a side part of your lower back. I go into a hip 90 position, laying against it, and then I reach away from it just so I can really get in there. And then from here, I work my way up to the lats, finding a hot spot. You could rotate inward or outward, really trying to find the specific angle for your own individual needs. And while I'm doing that, I like to perform these arm sweeps, so that way I'm using the lats, right? And just don't think up and down like in a train track type of movement pattern. We're meant to be able to move 360 degrees of all planes of motion, right? We want to be able to move everywhere. And then from here, I work my way up. Pretty much this is like where the triceps meet your lats, like the armpit area. This is typically a tight spot for me, just because of all the pressing that I do in my workouts throughout the week. So my triceps tend to stay a bit tight, right? As they get stronger, this tight sensation will decrease, just like a lot of things have. But from here, I then go into the thoracic spine, right? Really focusing at the position where I think the opposite side of your sternum, starting right there, keeping your hips down. You reach all the way back, tuck the chin, and then you bring everything else in. And then you just roll down to where the medicine ball goes up to the next vertebrae of your spine, and you repeat that up until you get to the base of the neck, right? And while you're doing this, you could also do like these press motions, right? And these arm sweeps. So that way you really focus on getting full movement of the shoulder, because when it comes to the shoulder movement, it's going to all come down to scapula movement. If your scapula is moving the way that it's supposed to, your shoulders will be moving the way that they're supposed to. So really make sure that you're not passive with any of this. It really helps to make sure that you're just engaging everything. From here, we're going to get a little scapula smash. So as I was showing in the video, it's on the side part of your spine. Your spine represents my hand, and then the ball is just to the side of it. Really start right there, and then from there you just search around for a hot spot. And then what I started doing recently is just taking the medicine ball, and I first punch out forward, protracting the shoulders, and then I go into this overhead position, getting about 3 to 5 reps of these, really focusing on getting good breaths, keeping my arms as straight as possible. And then after that, I'll get these rotations. Just think like how you drive a steering wheel, just going back and forth, getting about 5 to 10 on each side, and then you do the same thing for the other side. This will feel awesome. And that's how I finish up the smashing part of my routine. So yeah, guys, that's the smashing portion of my warm-up routine. Of course, you know, depending on how I'm feeling that day, I may use more volume in regards to certain areas. If I'm feeling snapped up, like let's say if my glute medius is just feeling like shit, or my QLs are just fucking smoked, I'll spend a good amount of time on them. But like, let's say if my adductors aren't feeling so bad, right, like my inner thighs, then I won't spend as much time. Because again, the point in all this is to get to a point where you don't need to do this. But if you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And I'll see you guys in the next video. You have a good one. Peace.